want to say good evening and welcome to our viewers and to this special program. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we are joined by representatives from the Liberty Bermuda Group, formerly known as the Ascendant Group and BELCO. This evening, our discussion will be divided into three segments. First, we're going to provide you with an outline of the company now that it's owned by the Liberty Group. We will then provide an update on the North Power Station. There's been much community discussion and a focus by area residents who have entered dialogue with the company. We will discuss the latest. And finally, the company's commitment to sustainability and the Bermuda community. Joining us this evening will be Liberty and BELCO President Wayne Keynes, Shelley Lehman, Managing Director of Transmission, Distribution and Retail, Nadir Wade, Managing Director of Bulk Generation, Mark Pacheco, Director of Business Continuity and OSHA, and Krista Barnes, Director of Communications and Sustainability. We'll be back in just a moment.
We've powered your homes and businesses for over a century. We've learned so much over that time about our environmental impact and new sustainable methods of providing electricity. So now we're making changes. BELCO is committed to sustainability. We're making the transition to large-scale renewable power and upgrading our network to accommodate it. In the meantime, we've replaced inefficient, outdated engines with modern, efficient engines in our last fossil fuel-powered plant. Our vehicle fleet is on track to be 100% electric in the near future, reducing our carbon emissions and saving operational costs. We also believe that sustainability extends to the community. We proudly fund education, community development, and family support initiatives, while also providing scholarships, internships, and apprenticeships to develop the leaders of tomorrow. Learn more about our commitment to sustainability at belco.bm.
As we embark on this discussion, this important discussion, in this first segment, we are joined by President Keynes and Shelley Lehman. Mr. Keynes, first of all, there's a changeover from companies and in companies. Can you explain the structure and take us through that? And how does things work right now? Where does BELCO fit?
Firstly, good evening, Mr. Richardson. Thank you for this opportunity. The team and I were reflecting earlier that we've all watched you over our lives, and you've been a part of the soundtrack of our lives over the years. So it's indeed a privilege to share this opportunity with you. Thank you for all that you've done in our country and our community.
Thank you.
In November of this year, our BELCO was purchased by Liberty. The parent company of Liberty is Algonquin, that are a Canadian company. We have companies, BELCO, which I am the president of, IEPC, which is a construction management company. We have Air Care that does energy services. We have IFM that does property management. We have BELCO, which is the utility part of our business. We have two licenses, and now the difference is our business is going to have managing directors that cover both of our licenses. We have the transmission, distribution, and retail side of our business. The managing director is Ms. Shelley Lehman. She's a 20-year veteran of our business. And the bulk generation is a second side of our business, which is led by a managing director. His name is Nadir Wade. He manages the bulk generation. You will meet him in later segments and hear about his pedigree at that stage. Mm-hmm. And I'm the president over the companies. Our AGH, which has EPC, Air Care, and IFM, is led by the president of that entity, and her name is Judith Udden.
Mm-hmm. How do you keep track of each of these satellite pieces, if you wish?
We have a competent management team, and we have a management structure that allows AGH, that is run by Judith. The bulk generation side is managed by Mr. Wade, and the transmission, distribution, and retail part of our business is maintained and managed by Ms. Lehman. I am the president, and at every stage we are talking, we are communicating, and each one of those entities has a sub-silo that manages that entity. And as always, all of them answer to specific modalities within our organization. Yeah. But I will say this, we are proud to lead 300 and just over 350 people. The BELCO space is dynamic. We have trained, we have the competent, we have the talented, and the exact same thing in the AGH space with our other companies. We are excited about the dynamic people that are in our companies, that when most of us sleep, they are out at the precipice of danger, making sure that we are covered, making sure that we have power. And indeed, I am honored to lead this team of talented people.
Yeah. So many of us would like to know about things going forward, development, not structure for structure's sake.
Sure.
Do you believe the structure will help you facilitate change and change in a timely manner?
I believe that the change in the structure is very interesting. And just going back, we have in our communications department, we have now communication and sustainability. The sustainability piece is important because it sets the roadmap for what the company will look like in the future. And so that's a dynamic shift that is led by our Krista Barnes, and she will talk about that in the future. We're looking about tonight the opportunity to share with the viewing audience is the direction that we have to go forward in the country with reference to what the future looks like with sustainability, highlighting and discussing and being transparent with some challenges that we've had with our North Power Station, talking openly about emissions and soot and staining on people's roofs. We have new exciting process and procedures around our new metering system. And so we believe tonight is an awesome opportunity to be transparent. And mea culpa. These are the things that are not going well. And look at our new direction of travel. The country has seen a 114-year history. We now have a new composite of the board. Will this company, now that is owned by Liberty, change? We're saying that whilst the ownership has changed, we will continue to march on the bearing of making sure that Bermudians have the best uninterrupted power source on island, that we give examples and opportunities of what the future will look like. And where we have fallen short of the mark, we hold up our hands and say, this is what we've done wrong, and these are the plans we have to rectify. And so tonight is an opportunity for us to share with the viewing audience what the future looks like with our new organization.
So we know that some of the panelists will address some of those pressing concerns of those who are using your product.
Yes.
If I had to categorize what kind of company you have now, what are you? Who are you?
We are a Canadian-owned company with a Bermudian body, with Bermudian heart, with Bermudian philosophies. And we have the same men and women that have been running the company for the last 114 years. They're still at the post now. When you pick up the phone, you're going to talk to Candy Canes. When you go on the lines, when you get on the line, you're going to see Chad. You're going to see Jamal. You're going to see the men and women that have constantly been working for this company. When you go into our power station, you're going to see Chris. You're going to see David. You're going to see the same people at their battle stations working on the behalf of the people of Bermuda.
Leads me into some questions for you, Shelley.
Sure.
Obviously, there's an area that you'll focus on a bit, the customer.
Absolutely.
Normally we hear customer first. Our employees are our greatest resource, but we have to live it. So tell us about the customer.
Absolutely. So customers are at the heart of everything that we do. We serve our customers. We've been listening to our customers for years. They've told us that they don't like receiving a bill and not understanding what is contained in that bill. What does it mean? So one of the big projects that we've got going on right now is our advanced metering infrastructure project. And that's us going out there and changing out all of our meters island-wide. To date, we've deployed about 24,000 of our 38,000 meters. We've upgraded them to AMI, so that's about 63% of the total meter population. Why are we doing that? AMI meters, they're advanced. They allow customers to be able to view hourly usage data. In the past, you got your bill, and it was for the month, and you didn't understand where and how that electricity was consumed. Now we're trying to put the tools and empower our customer. The meters themselves gives us great flexibility for future. In terms of rates, we can make changes to potentially add in time of use, for example, to look at prepayment for our customers. So these are things that we're trying to give more options to our customers. They also provide us with tools ourselves in terms of outage notification. So historically, as a customer, you would have to call into us to say, hey, my power's out, what's going on? Sometimes you'd be in a call queue for a long period of time trying to reach one of our customer service representatives or one of our dispatch operators. Now, these meters will send us an outage notification instantly, and they will tell us, hey, this customer is without power, and we can respond to it quickly. So it allows us more flexibility for us as an entity, as a company, but it also allows, I guess, better insights for customers as well, better tools for them. So that's an exciting project for us. We anticipate that will be wrapping up in Q1 of next year. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, we've been tying in our advanced metering into a new website. Our new website launched about 2 years ago, and that was really to provide those insights that the advanced meters can provide to our customers, put those tools in their hands. Now, when you log on to BELCO, there's a customer portal. You can register, set up, put your name in there, and you'll have access to your hourly usage. You'll have access to bills, your payment history. All of the information that's loaded onto the website is downloadable. So if you're a customer that wants to take great interest in your usage history, you can download it into Excel spreadsheet and take a look at it.
I don't know if we want to go that deep.
So
interesting, though, but that's good.
Yeah,
I want to catch you before you go too far into those mechanics. Let's go back to the meters.
Sure.
Here and there we've heard things about the so-called smart meters.
Yep.
Have you put to bed those theories or those fears?
Absolutely.
Do we believe?
Absolutely. So we've done our own due diligence. We've had third parties that have looked at the RF, the radio frequency,
Sure,
to ensure that it is safe. And as I'd like to say, I would not put that meter out in my mom's home if I didn't feel confident that it was not safe for my mom or my dad. And I feel confident and safe. The regulatory authority themselves have also conducted their own studies, and they've said that it is safe. In terms of measurement, we're talking about it's less radio frequency than a cell phone, than a baby monitor. So these are things that we use every day. The meter is outside of your house. So yes, we have put that to bed.
But if a person wants to opt out and say that they don't want it in their home, there is an opportunity for them to opt out as well.
Yeah. To something that's going to be compatible with the entire system?
Correct. So the way that we have the opt-out program now is you will still get an AMI meter. However, we have the ability to disable the radio frequency within it. Okay. So that is an option for customers should they like to do that. But we want to encourage folks to get the AMI meter to get all of the benefits that you can out of it.
Sure.
There's so many.
That's an interesting aspect. So let's move to more of customer service. And we've had a trying period, this
Sure.
COVID period. Have you been able to, and have you upped your communication with your customers?
Absolutely, we had to. BELCO, historically, we had 10,000 customers that walked through our door every month. Obviously, with COVID, some of the restrictions that the government put in place to keep us safe meant that those persons could not walk into our offices. So we had to pivot pretty quickly. The things that we did were, number one, waiving all of our credit card fees. That was the first thing. We recognized that the customer, we needed to do something to help empower them. So we waived all of the fees. Historically, we used to only accept MasterCard. We went out to Visa. We spoke to Visa. We spoke to American Express. We've introduced them now into our ability to allow customers to pay with various different credit cards. We also decided to introduce a bill deferment program. Again, recognizing that the island was hit hard. Many of our customers were having challenges in terms of making payments. Mm-hmm. So that bill deferment program, customers could call into us and let us know that they were having those difficulties, having those challenges,
Sure.
and we worked with them on that. Additionally, we worked with our customers on payment plans. So we have a dedicated credit team that accept those calls at any time, and they will work with customers at any time to set up payment arrangements.
You say any time. What do you mean by any time?
So the credit and collections team is available from 8:30 in the morning to 5 p.m. Okay. You can send an email, though, to info@belco.bm any time of the day. First thing in the morning, our credit team, it will be distributed to our team, and they will respond to that. The credit team themselves can be reached on 299-2801. That's separate from our customer service line, which is 299-2800. So if you want to talk about payment arrangements, the credit team can help you. If you want to ask any questions with regards to services, then you call the customer service team. We also try to communicate with customers and tell them about the website, because that's another awesome opportunity. While people are stuck at home wondering, how am I using electricity? They can go log onto the website at any time and they can make a payment, put a service request in through the website.
Something else I would like to highlight. The management team understands the struggles that people had during COVID. I want to highlight during the zenith of the COVID epidemic, we didn't turn off anyone's electricity. Understand what that meant. We understood what the business parameters were. We also understood that people were in the pinch of their life. And as a management team, we made a decision without prompting from the RA that during that period, and it was a long period last year, and it was a long period this year, that we did not disconnect one person's electricity during that time. And that was the commitment that we had to our community that have been there for us for 114 years.
We've got about 30 seconds left. We know we're going to talk about certain air quality later on. You have some anxious people in the immediate community. How have you been communicating with them, and how can you assure that you'll continue the communication?
Absolutely. So you're going to see in the next segment, there's a dedicated OHSE team who respond to any environmental complaints from the neighbors. So the team and the neighbors know who each other are. They can call on them, and Mark, who's the leader of that team, will go out. Him and his team are out there every day talking to the neighbors. So I'm sure that Mark will speak to a lot of that, but the OHSE team is the team to deal with the neighbors in the area.
Fantastic. To our viewers, stay with us. We will continue this important discussion in just a moment.
BELCO is committed to sustainability. We're reducing our paper use so you can help.
Switch to paperless billing. It's easy. Just send an email to info@belco.bm to sign up. Save trees, energy, and water that go into paper production. Win a $500 BELCO gift voucher in our e-billing draw. All customers with paperless bills will be entered into a draw on August 31st. Learn more at belco.bm. At BELCO, you've got the power to manage your account online, track your energy usage, and understand exactly how your bill works. BELCO efficiency tips help you control your usage and your spending. And when you need additional assistance, our friendly customer experience team is only a phone call away. BELCO is proud to provide power to the people of Bermuda. Visit your customer portal at belco.bm.
Welcome back. We want to continue this important discussion. Much of Bermuda is discussing electricity, how it's delivered, what's the air going to be like. And for this segment, we have, of course, the president still with us, Mr. Keynes. We also have Mr. Nadir Wade, good to see you, and Mr. Pacheco. So this is an interesting segment. You've had some feedback along the way. And again, Mr. Wade, we want to perhaps go into you, but let's go to Mr. Keynes first. Coming out of that top segment as we go into this is an important segment, as they all are, but much talk on this segment.
I would like to introduce Mr. Nadir Wade. He is the director of bulk generation for our company. Nadir was an engineer in the United States for a number of years. He's also been back in Bermuda working for quite a number of years. And I would like to thank Nadir for his stewardship. I'll talk about Mr. Pacheco in a minute, but most recently we have seen us have a loss of power in December. There was huge concern around that. We also had another loss of power in March, and I would like for Mr. Wade to talk about that. There are also some problems that we're dealing with, and we want to deal head on with some sewage in the area. There's some pollutants in the atmosphere.
Sure.
Some people have been complaining about soot on their cars, about their issues with the water. And our operational health and safety and environment team is led by Mr. Pacheco. Mr. Pacheco is going to talk about what we are doing to make the environment better. We're going to talk about sustainability at a later another segment. But Mr. Wade's team is responsible for the power plant, what it looks like, and managing the same. And I would love for Nadir to tell you about the challenges that we've had and a direction and a way forward.
All right, you're gonna lead us into this futuristic part of it. That's kind of exciting. Perhaps we can start with an overview of the North Power Station.
Yes, thank you, Rick. So I would say that the North Power Station, before we talk about that, we have to realize that it's a journey. BELCO has been on this journey for a number of years, looking for permission to actually build a new power plant, realizing that our current assets were aging, our aging power plant, and that we needed to make some decisions. And those decisions culminated in a process that started many years ago. That process started with an energy commission as well, and then that turned into a regulator. And just to educate the public, that journey requires the regulator to allow us to build new assets. So the North Power Station represents us retiring an aged, older fleet and moving to a new, more efficient fleet. And that in itself is the North Power Station. We believe that the North Power Station is our last fossil fuel plant that will be built in Bermuda. It doesn't sleep on us that renewable penetration and new technologies are coming into the environment, and BELCO is very much going to be a part of that story, and that's part of our sustainability journey. But we have to understand that in order to step towards sustainability, we have to actually continue to provide the island with secure, reliable, safe, and environmentally friendly energy. Bermuda is a jurisdiction that is known to have a reliable source of supply. And we'll get into some of the issues around the outages, which actually speak to that reliability, and I'll address that. So the North Power Station itself it took 24 months approximately to build. And it was commissioned and handed over to BELCO in March 2020. There was a number of contractors and persons that worked on the North Power Station. And it was definitely a driver in the economy in terms of using external resources from Bermuda with skilled services that are necessary to build a complex machine and system like a power plant. But then there was also a number of local contractors as well. Along this journey, realizing that we're building on a North Power Station, we've taken the step of retiring 8 engines. So we've retired 8 engines, and we've provided Bermuda with 4 new engines.
Quick interjection here. What's the challenge like transitioning from one to the other?
Yeah, so it's a big challenge. We have to maintain our current assets. We have to ensure that we have the consistency of reliable power while also bringing on and building a new plant.
Make sure my lights stay on.
Make sure your lights stay on. Make sure when you hit that switch that you're confident that they will be on. And that's what our utility is all about.
Yeah. All right.
But before we move on, before we move out the segment, I think it's very important that we deal with certain things head on, because this is an opportunity for us to share our views and what happened in the power station. Nadir, can you talk to us specifically about the outage that took place in December and the outage that took place in March?
Yes, very much, Wayne. Thank you for that. So we had a island-wide outage in December 2020. Not something we're proud of, something that we're very apologetic to our customers for. I'll go into the specifics of that, and we've been very public and transparent in terms of what happened there. So we had the North Power Station built, and when we built the North Power Station, we essentially had what we call a power supply, a general switch that typically, when we operate, typically works. We have no issues. This switch, when our team went to carry out a routine operation, this switch essentially failed and had a cascading effect on our generation. So what was the ultimate problem and root cause? The problem was that the installation and the commissioning had some oversights in terms of what you would expect with a new power plant. We stand up and we take responsibility for that. We've been very open and transparent about that and said that there was an oversight. Since which we've gone back, looked at that system, rectified the issues, but it doesn't negate the fact that there was an island-wide outage. That island-wide outage caused our 4 North Power Station engines to trip, and then the rest of the load for the energy for the island was hanging on the requisite engines, and those engines cannot supply the entire island, and therefore they did what they're supposed to do, which if they're going to be damaged, they trip, and
So-
you have an island-wide outage.
So if I use the body as an example,
Yes,
before I get to hypertension,
yes,
they see my blood pressure go
yep.
up, and then I get checked and up. So what kind of warning signals do you get, if any, when something like this happens? What's there to monitor that?
So we have a number of monitoring systems, but in this instance, because of the significance of the system, it was instantaneous. So there was no real opportunities to monitor, to take retroactive action. It was instant.
So,
And
see, the layman will sit back and say, and a lot of the people I'm talking to, they must have seen this coming. It started to go. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, if I can interject, the company that built our North Power Station, they have acknowledged that indeed the error was theirs. They have been working with us diligently to fix it. We've had the opportunity to have an independent body to come in and to indeed share that the North Power Station is indeed fit for purpose. Was a $150 million investment. And so we understand what it means. The company that built it said, listen, mea culpa, this was our fault. We're going to rectify this, and this is what we're going to do going forward. We've shared those findings with the regulator, and we believe now that our plant is indeed fit for purpose. We know that the summer months are coming on, and that Bermudians are going to be using their power and using the air conditioners, and we are confident that our North Power Station and all of our assets will be able to handle the summer load.
All right. Sounds good. Listen, you would be aware, and you've had dialogue and discussions with those persons in the area who are basically shouting some of the things you're saying in here that you're working on, reducing pollution, that sort of thing. Who will speak to that, Mr. Pacheco? Can you speak to us along that line?
So in terms of reducing pollution, I think one of the big things that was just discussed was when Nadir mentioned that we had 8 of our engines, which were recently decommissioned. We only replaced those with 4. So we did improve air quality for certain residents within the area. However, others are now being impacted due to the new location of our staff. My team is responsible for the measuring and monitoring of that data, but also remediation of impacts. So when it pertains to air quality, we measure air quality at 3 different ambient air quality monitoring stations located on Cemetery Lane, the Mount Langton area, and Ocean Lane area. We also capture meteorological data through our SODAR monitoring station and our Met Tower. So our job is to basically catch dispersants, monitor dispersants that might be in the air, and then determine our level of compliance against the local legislation. And to date, BELCO has not exceeded any of the local ambient air quality legislation that we have in Bermuda under the Clean Air Regulations 1993. What's interesting, though, is BELCO and the OHSE team are based off of continual improvement. So what we've done is we started to assess our level of compliance against international legislation and started to address our level of compliance against the UK regulations as they pertain to ambient air quality. And what we found is we meet the 24-hour requirement for ambient air quality, the 1-hour ambient air quality, and all parameters except for one as we talk about the 15-minute air quality standard. So right now we have demonstrated exceedances to the 15-minute exceedance for sulfur dioxide. However, we have put provisions in place now to manage that and bring us into compliance even with international legislation. So our operations teams are working feverishly behind the scenes, switching between fuel sources, between HFO to LFO to help combat these and also to reduce complaints. So we are in constant communication with the neighboring community. Yeah. We provide one-on-one assessments at the neighboring community's house. We've done this as well with our president, Mr. Keynes, and we will continue to do so. It's very important to us to let the community know that we are moving forward and we want to bring them along for that journey.
So we're on an island, we're close proximity. What kind of area do you take a look at when you're doing samples, when you're monitoring and testing?
So which would you like first? Would you like me to kind of talk about the water? Would you like me to talk about air? I'll go with whatever. Start with the water? Yeah. Okay. So water samples, we collected 10 samples, as you know, during our June 2020 commissioning of the plant. We had a large amount of soot fallout that was caused. So naturally, there was questions that were raised by the community in terms of how we were impacting their water quality. So what we did was, under the direction of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Bermuda Institute of Ocean Sciences collected 10 water samples on our behalf from neighboring homes in the community who had been impacted by the soot fallout. They collected the water straight from the raw water source, the water cistern, and then those results were sent away to a lab for analysis so we could test for bacterial as well as chemical contaminants, heavy metals, fuel sources, any sort of things that would be a hit towards BELCO. What the data showed from the analysis of it was that the water all met the safe drinking water standards and regulations set forth by the US, the UK, and the World Health Organization. So two parameters in specific, nickel and vanadium. Nickel was shown to be 7 times below the legal, the most stringent drinking water regulation. In 2021, we built off of that study. We didn't just collect water from the tanks. This time we collect water from the homeowners' taps, and once again from the most affected homes in the neighborhood. What that gave us the ability to do was determine if there was any sort of sediment that was being stirred up in the water as it gets pulled through the foot valve. And we collected those samples. And once again, all of those samples were analyzed by an overseas lab, and they have all met the requirements for safe drinking water under the US, UK, and the World Health Organization.
All right. We're going to have to do it real quick on this segment. Yeah. I want to hear about the air, but I want to also hear you tell us and tell our viewers and tell those residents whether or not, yes, those stats look good. Yes. Can they be improved on?
So, can I speak to that, Mark? So the improvements come from the source, right? And I'm just going to pivot off of Mark and what he's provided about the science. It's my responsibility to ensure that we fix the problem at the source, right? And what we mean by that, and we've been addressing the problem at the source. So it's been a stage process. For the last number of months, we've gone through phase 1, which is complete, where we had inefficient combustion going on with the engines. The new the 4 North Power Station engines had inefficient combustion. So in order to not have the startups specifically, there's fallouts specifically during startup and stops of the engines, right? Not during normal operation. In order to stop those fallouts, what we've done to increase combustion in our phase 1 process is install shims on our 4 engines. That's phase 1. That basically solved 80% of the problem in terms of combustion. The 80-20 rule, the last 20% of the problem is being addressed through fitting the engines with new piston crowns. The new piston crowns are being designed such that they're going to increase combustion, which basically means that all the fuel and combustion is basically going to ensure that everything is burnt off before it goes through the stack, which is basically like a muffler on a car. So 2 of the 4 engines have already been completed. So phase 1 is 100% complete. Phase 2, we've completed 2 of the 4 engines. A lot of the questions or statements that we've been getting back, and the team knows, is why didn't you complete all? Well, Bermuda has a summer peak, and we have a responsibility to be ready for that summer peak. The summer peak is very much tied to July and August, when people are really running their air conditions, let's be honest, right? And we have a responsibility to our customers to make sure that when you hit that switch and you have the reliability in July and August. So we too are a business, and I want people to understand this, that has been impacted by COVID. We have contractors and personnel and skilled labor that needs to come into the island in order to be able to do 100% of maintenance, but notwithstanding that we have a dynamic internal team as well. So,
producers are telling me this segment has gone a little long. You want to wrap it up on 2 things, air and what you're going to say.
So if I can interject, the biggest thing is that we want to tell our people in the central parishes that we are sorry. When we talk about what we're doing with reference to the water, with reference to what we're doing at the point, they're saying, Mr. Keynes, look at this water. I cannot drink it. Look at my roof.
Yes.
Look at my car. We're saying that they are a priority. Oftentimes, companies come forth and they give you the things that they're doing without accepting responsibility for what's going on. Your company senior staff are saying to you, we understand it. We are fixing it. And what is happening to you, it's important. Last year, we spent $500,000 painting roofs. Mark and his team are putting water filtration systems in people's homes that we cover. that we will fix. They are emailing our office, and our teams are going out to their homes. It is not something that we take lightly. And we want to share with everyone that this is a company is 114 years old. We are going along a sustainability journey. And so we're taking everyone along the journey with us. What is important to us is that we go to the homes, have the conversation, have the town hall meetings, do the mailers. We've met with the politicians. We've met with key members of the community. We've met with the Chamber of Commerce. We're sharing with everyone, listen, we understand that this is not an optimum situation, but these are the things that we're doing for remediation. And this is what the future looks like.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. But the key point is that you're going to have to help us by turning on, and we're going to talk about this in sustainability. BELCO, you're asking us to keep the lights on. So guess what? Help us. Are you going to start using renewable energies and other sources? So the sustainability journey is one for us all to go on together.
All right. We still didn't have the final word on the air quality. We're going to have to rob Peter to pay Paul. So can you tell us just on that?
So in reference to air quality, once again, we measure, we monitor through our different systems that we have, through our different ambient air quality monitoring stations. We currently, we would follow up on any sort of complaint or any sort of suggestion for improvement that the public would have. That would go right now. We are receiving calls from, I'd say, North Shore all the way down to the Hamilton area. And we would go visit these homeowners on a one-on-one basis and basically collect and analyze that data on site. So we will continue to measure and monitor. But as of right now, we have met all the requirements of all the Bermuda Clean Air.
Sure. Much to discuss in our conversation today. We'll be back in just a moment.
We've powered your homes and businesses for over a century. We've learned so much over that time about our environmental impact and new sustainable methods of providing electricity. So now we're making changes. BELCO is committed to sustainability. We're making the transition to large-scale renewable power and upgrading our network to accommodate it. In the meantime, we've replaced inefficient, outdated engines with modern, efficient engines in our last fossil fuel-powered plant. Our vehicle fleet is on track to be 100% electric in the near future, reducing our carbon emissions and saving operational costs. We also believe that sustainability extends to the community. We proudly fund education, community development, and family support initiatives, while also providing scholarships, internships, and apprenticeships to develop the leaders of tomorrow. Learn more about our commitment to sustainability at belco.bm.
We've got a trenching project that has trenches open on the east end of the island and the west end of the island all over the place. So first and foremost, I just want to apologize to our customers and thank them for their patience. This is a project that is a 3-year project. It's a $54 million project to replace aging assets. It's our transmission network, the cables that we're replacing. Some of them are over 60 years old. The reason why we're replacing those cables is we want to be prepared for the future to accept renewable energy penetration. So some of the large-scale renewable energy systems, like the 6 megawatts of solar down at the Solar Finger at the airport. So this will help us moving into the future, and we're so that we're prepared.
Sure. Look, many of us, particularly those who are riding on bikes and what have you, want to know how long.
Sure. The big thing is that we're going to have most of our trenches closed before the Cup Match holiday, and that's important, especially since we're going to be bringing that cup back east.
Okay.
I would like to say that she doesn't speak on behalf of the company. Obviously, we, certain of us in the company, believe that the company will remain in the West for the foreseeable future.
That's for a long discussion.
Absolutely.
Sure. Let's talk about what we can expect now that this network, a great deal of it, is underground.
So that's just our transmission system. A lot of the overhead cables that you see as part of our distribution network. And the reason why the cables are overhead, it allows flexibility, ease of access for when we have hurricanes, for example. We can get to it quickly and effect repairs quickly. If we have a fault in our underground system, it means that we have to trench, dig up the cable, fix it, make repairs, and then put it back into the ground. So when we have a distribution network that's overhead, it actually allows us a little bit more flexibility and I guess quickness in terms of response.
Yeah, I think many of us would start thinking in terms of vulnerability and the ability to keep us connected. Is this going to be improved with the underground sort of network?
So the underground network, as we said before, that's to looking to the future. We anticipate right now we've got about 6.5 megawatts of installed capacity of renewable energy systems around the island. And that's everybody with rooftop solar. That doesn't count the 6 megawatts that we have coming online down at the solar finger. So all told, that's over 12 megawatts. So what we're trying to do is have that flexibility to add renewables at different ends of the island, and it's to create a more robust network at the end of the day.
Uh-huh.
If I can take and do a dynamic pivot, we are getting very close to our hurricane season. And we think it's important, number one, to salute the men and women of BELCO that are out in arduous conditions, and they keep us connected. Even at the most difficult times, that is when they're on their posts. But we're going to encourage all of our residents island-wide to do their tree trimming. We're going into a season where we know that the hurricane season's coming. To prevent a lot of loss of power on our grid, we're asking for people to go in their yards and look where their trees are and to make sure that their trees are trimmed. Call into our offices, alert us that you're tree trimming, and we can turn off the power in your areas. In your area, give us enough time that we can get out to you, Shelley?
Yeah, I would say call us 3 weeks in advance. We need ample time to plan for those outages, but we want you to do it in a responsible manner. So make sure that you're calling us ahead, and that's for the safety of not only yourself when you're trimming the trees, but also the safety for our customers and people that are on the roads at the same time. I'd like to thank my team just now, take a moment. I've got a large team of over 100 men and women. Some of them that work well through the night. Our operations center, these are the guys that when you call 955, there's a person at the end of the line to answer it. And that's in the middle of the night, 24 hours a day. So thank you to my team. I appreciate you and we value you. And thank you for all that you do, particularly as we head into hurricane season.
Yeah. Look, while we're on that topic, we see men out there right now. This is a time where we've got sunshine, some rain, and trees are growing quickly. Mm-hmm. Do you have a preventative program going?
Sure. We've got a vegetation management program that we look at all of our mainline circuits, and we have someone that we have on contract that we go through and we try to trim the trees that are along those mainline circuits. However, most of our issues happen in the neighborhoods, and those are the trees that our homeowners are responsible for that are on private property. And that's where we want to go out and ask those customers to make sure that they are keeping their trees trimmed and keeping them back from the power lines, because most of the damage that we have during hurricanes is associated with vegetation.
At BELCO, you've got the power to manage your account online, track your energy usage, and understand exactly how your bill works. BELCO efficiency tips help you control your usage and your spending. And when you need additional assistance, our friendly customer experience team is only a phone call away. BELCO is proud to provide power to the people of Bermuda. Visit your customer portal at belco.bm.
Welcome back. For our discussion right now, we are joined by Krista Barnes, Director of Communications and Sustainability. That's a mouthful. This is our final segment, and there are some important things, as usual, to discuss here, including what the company is doing in scholarships and what have we. But first, we take a look at the commitment to sustainability.
Before Krista goes, in the last segment, we talked about some of the challenges we're having in our community. And what I believe the sustainability part of our business will highlight is how do we get there? And so when people say, I want the smoke to stop, we have to give a clear roadmap of how we get there. Krista always says sustainability is a journey. And so we wanted to share with you our plans for the future, how we get there, and I'd just like for Krista to take you through some of those key elements.
Yeah, Krista?
Hi, thank you very much. I get the pleasure of sitting here tonight and talking to you about one of the most exciting things, the journey that we're on right now, and that is our commitment to sustainability. We have come out recently and publicly made that statement about sustainability. We are in a situation where we have some resources in place that are there to help guide us along our journey. This is something that didn't just start. This is something that many people have done within the company for many years, but this is more of a formalized plan in our journey forward. So sustainability kind of covers three different pillars. It focuses on environmental, social, and governance. Under environmental, those are the topics that most people are already aware of. That's our efforts towards offsetting what we're doing as far as pollution and what the plant is putting out there, as we're obviously a utility provider. We have a team right now, and we're calling it the B100 team. And that is a team of local resources, as well as some from our parent company, Liberty. And we're really looking at how we can become 100% renewable. As everyone is aware, the IRP at the moment states that we're going to be 85% renewable by 2035, and we would love to see that number grow to 100%. So at this moment in time, we do not have a prescription, and we're not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but it is something that we are looking at all avenues, and we are doing our studies and our work so that we can put that plan together as to how we're going to get there. That is something that's going to take time and obviously capital and resources. So it is something that we are asking everyone to bear with us as we move along that journey. Some of the initiatives that we've already embarked on, which are quite exciting, is we have our battery energy storage system. And so that was something that we call the BESS. At the moment, that holds our spinning reserve. And what that means is we don't need to have extra engines running just in case we need them. We can rely on that battery. That's providing us with a savings of about $2 million in the cost of fuel that we don't need to use. And it's also reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by about 4,500 tons of CO2 every year, which is a substantial number. And it's our great first step, and something that we are continuing to look at is the possibility of perhaps adding another one onto our grid.
So before you go further, the community will look for changes in timelines.
Yes.
You obviously internally have some timelines. Well, you can't just pinpoint.
Yes.
But how are you gauging that?
So I think it's interesting to understand the journey. Everyone is looking at the smokestack and say, as long as the smokestack is there, there is no progress. What Krista is sharing, there are some things that are taking place in the future that we're planning towards. There are some things that we are doing now that are having immediate effect. You might not see them, but they're having effect on the ozone. They're having effect on the gases. And as we do specific things, you will see the benefit to it. But to the people that are in the vicinity, they're saying, Mr. Keynes, my roof is still dirty. We're saying, let us take you through the journey, and you will see that not only is your problem going to be fixed, but we're going to give you a better country in the end.
Hopefully you're going to be on one of those high-speed trains. We want to go a little quicker into the journey, but on a serious note, continue.
Yes, so actually, speaking to that point about things that you can see in the immediate future, later this year we're going to start one of our projects, the larger projects, and it's called the Asset Retirement Project. And this is where earlier this evening, Nadir spoke about our engines that we've retired. So we've retired 8 engines and 5 smokestacks. We're now going to actually remove them from the property. So there's going to be some dismantling of engines and of buildings. As many opportunities that we have, we're going to ship some of the parts off to be recycled overseas. And so we're also going to have the opportunity to put some abatement measures in place so that if there has been any oil that's leaked into the ground over years, such as, then we can go ahead and sort that and make that being back to our square one basic. So that's a big project that the public will get to see because of the dismantling of buildings. We also, the last part I want to highlight under this environmental thought process is our electric fleet. We're very proud to say that we are have one of the largest electric fleets in any company in Bermuda. At the moment, it's 78% electric, but we are working in the next 5 years to ensure that that's going to be 100%. So by 2026, all of our BELCO vehicles will be electric, which is great news, and will obviously help our carbon footprint be reduced drastically.
As we look at economies of scale, Bermuda is gradually shifting to hybrids, if not electrical. Will you have top-ups, fill-ups elsewhere around the island?
I think that's an excellent opportunity for our country at large. Everything, we are in a regulated space. A number of the things that we do have to go through the regulator.
Sure.
But we see that this is an opportunity, a business opportunity for people to put charging infrastructures all over the island. So when people are putting their mind to what the future looks like, already the car dealerships are starting to sell electric vehicles. This is an evolution for us all. So if you are a car dealer, you must not lament that electric cars are coming. You must now adopt. So to the horse and buggy, they were lamenting the Model T car. Well, the horse engine car or the car driver had to say, you know what, we have to get ready for airplanes and so on. And so we believe this represents a huge opportunity for the business mind in Bermuda to become sustainable as well.
Okay. Corporations, big companies are always asked, or should be, displaying their community and corporate responsibilities. How are you looking to do that?
So the second one that I would say that touches the community more is really under our social thought process. And that is something that we're constantly taking on. So we're constantly making sure that we're engaged in our community. We have a scholarship and donations team that looks at all the requests that come in through the door. And we make sure that we touch as many charities and as many organizations as we possibly can with funds, but also with our time. We are blessed to have charity days built within our structure. And what that means is we each have some time that we can go back into the community and give back and support. So that we're actually going out there and donating our time and not just the funds that come from the company, which is fantastic. Underneath social, we have one of our scholarship programs, which is very exciting to us. Scholarships is something that we have offered within the company for many years. However, just recently, we have kind of taken another look at that scholarship program. And what we've been able to do now is we've put in place an opportunity for Bermudians who go overseas to learn. Then when they come back, they'll be able to work with us for a period of time. So we're helping to give them an opportunity to get some real work experience as well as furthering their education. And that's really exciting for us and for them. We have an apprenticeship program, which has been in place for over 25 years. And this is a program that takes young Bermudians, it trains them, it gives them the right work experience they need, and it sends them off to school to get the training. And then when they come back, they can work with us. And this is something that we're looking to hopefully do perhaps later this year, and something that we're really making an effort to ensure that it is the right program and it's the right fit for what is needed in today's technology and in today's utility world.
If I can interrupt there, Krista. The apprentice program is something, as Krista said, that has been the backbone of how we get men and women into our company. This year, our Nadir Wade and our HR department are revamping that program. We are going to be highlighting in the not too distant future that we are going to be seeking a larger than number of apprentices into our program. We want our best, we want our brightest, we want our most dedicated. And so if you know a young man, or there are young men in our community that want a career, they want to be able to provide for their family, they want to join a group of men and women that are committed, our apprenticeship program, when it is revamped, we will be rolling this out to our community. And we believe that we will have life-changing opportunities for young men and women in our country.
Interesting piece there. Look, apprenticeship programs go all the way back. Today, there's an opportunity with your reach, with your international reach, to have some kind of exchange. Are you going to look that way? Because that's an appreciation that's amazing.
Our apprentice program is indeed tethered to a program in the United Kingdom. We have that will be starting on Monday. We have a new generalist that is coming on board, and he's going to be focusing around training and what that looks like for our apprentice program. We're going to focus very heavily on training, having someone that understands our business, that is embedded in our TDR and teams, embedded in our bulk generation teams. What we want is a well-rounded apprentice that is able to take his rightful place in our country. But this is the key. That person has to be mentally ready for the opportunity. We will indeed do our part. We're going to open the gates, but we want the right people that understand that this is an opportunity that they have to indeed be ready for.
Are you taking a look also at apprenticeships are good, exchanges are good, mentorship?
Mentorship, and that is the beautiful part about what the apprentice program looks like. The apprentice program is designed for them to be paired with a senior person on our team. The training officer will work with them to help them to get to their scorecards if they are having challenges. The entire system has always been like that at BELCO. The senior workers, whether they are a grade 1, a grade 2, wherever they are in our business, BELCO has always been a place where mentorship is key, and we want to build on that. Before I go any further, allow me to go off script for 10 seconds. I am enjoying the relationship with the ESTU union. There's nothing that we will achieve without a solid working relationship with our union. I stand privileged to meet with my union brothers and sisters, and I love the opportunity to share with them our plans, to listen to their concerns, to be challenged by them, to be held accountable by them. And it is not always time, hugs and kisses, but the men and women of the ESTU, our management team, respects the opportunity to partner with them to make our company stronger.
That's really good stuff. So we're in the final segment. This has been an absorbing discussion. Anything you want to add at this point?
The last piece I just wanted to mention is our drive to zero safety culture. And that is something that we're really promoting under sustainability. As you know, Bermuda roads aren't always safe. And so we want to ensure that those that are out there in BELCO vehicles driving around are really taking safety and making it top of their mind before they get in a vehicle. So we have this culture that we're out there, we're promoting that, and we are actively looking and ensuring that we are causing no accidents or any incidents on the road. And we're protecting our people as well as all the other road users.
We mentioned this is absorbing discussion. There's a piece here on company governance.
Yes.
And that's important.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, governance is a huge piece of sustainability that often gets overlooked. And what that is about putting some metrics in place. So we're looking at some business intelligence systems right now to help guide us with our metrics. That's what's going to hold our goals and to make sure that we're held accountable and to make sure that we can track to ensure that the next time we have this opportunity to sit in front of you, we can say that we've met those goals and we've actually moved the needle along.
Anything in closing?
I would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you to the public for allowing us to be a part of your lives. And every night when you turn on the lights, we are honored to be that light that indeed comes on in your house. I'd like to say thank you to the BELCO and to the Liberty. We became Liberty on June 1st of this year. And so the name Ascendant has meandered into the sunset, and we are now Liberty. And we're proud of that Liberty name. Whilst we have Liberty name, we will still maintain our BELCO brand and the other key brands. And I want to say thank you to the Liberty family employees. Everyone in our company is important. Everyone in our company is valued. And last but not least, I would like to thank Dennis Pimentel. He was the immediate past president. Dennis was served this company with aplomb. He worked with the organization for 30 years. He was an excellent steward. He has been an excellent mentor to me through this program, and our team wants to say thank you to him. But most importantly, and lastly but not leastly, I'd like to thank ZBM for giving us this opportunity. We believe that this is a journey. We believe that this is an opportunity for us to say, listen, we understand that things are imperfect for the people that live on Euclid Avenue, that live on Ocean Drive. We are going to work passionately and diligently to make sure that the environment is fit for purpose, that you can stand outside and have your coffee, that your kids could play outside. That is important to us. You heard from Nadir. We're going to get those piston crowns in as soon as it is practicables. The shims are in. We're working on getting everything right so our community can be out and that everyone could be held accountable. If there are things that are going wrong, go onto our website. Our team will come out to your house. We will look at it. We do not take that for granted. We will fix it and we will make things right. We look forward to the sustainable journey that we will have as our country. We are proud and honored to be a part of this community. This is our community. We are a reflection. You saw the team tonight, 100% homegrown leadership team. We have people from all over our country, all over the world that advise us. But we can tell you the difficult decisions, the financial decisions, all of the decisions around the engineering are made by your sons and your daughters.
Sure.
And we are excited about the opportunity to be there. We will be held accountable for that which we do right. We have a plan for our company's future, and we're just excited to share with you our vision for Bermuda for the next 50 years and beyond.
Yeah, we've neglected something. We usually get on the line, on the phone, on the computer when there are outages. Mm-hmm. Is there an easy way to get through to BELCO, to the new group, let's put it that way, during those crisis times? And if you can, I know Shelley was here just a moment ago, and well, Krista,
yes.
Can you do that?
I would say that your first resource is the website. So we have a wonderful outage map on the website, and that actually shows all the outages, and it breaks it down by parish and by postal code. So at the moment, if you're worried about whether or not BELCO is aware of your outage, that's your first point. So before you even pick up the phone, if you go on there and look and you can see that there's an outage in your area, then you have the confidence that we are aware of that outage. Second of all, with that AMI meter that Shelley was speaking about earlier,
sure,
that gives us an immediate signal so that we know instantly that you don't have power, and we can come out and support that. And in any instances, if there's ever kind of an electrical emergency, or if you need to get a hold of us, then please dial 955, and we will take your call and we will get to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, sorry we didn't bring that up a bit earlier.
BELCO is committed to sustainability. We're reducing our paper use so you can help.
Switch to paperless billing. It's easy. Just send an email to info@belco.bm to sign up. Save trees, energy, and water that go into paper production. Win a $500 BELCO gift voucher in our e-billing draw. All customers with paperless bills will be entered into a draw on August 31st. Learn more at belco.bm.
Listen, we've had the representatives from the Liberty Bermuda Group, formerly known as the Ascendant Group, and BELCO. We trust we've given you some information that you can use and use immediately. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
At BELCO, you've got the power to manage your account online, track your energy usage, and understand exactly how your bill works. BELCO efficiency tips help you control your usage and your spending. And when you need additional assistance, our friendly customer experience team is only a phone call away. BELCO is proud to provide power to the people of Bermuda. Visit your customer portal at belco.bm.